grab your wine. It's time for Rosé All Day and Juleigh's a Mess, where we talk about current events and living in an intersex life. And now, here's Juleigh.
Hi, everybody. Welcome to episode 8 of Optimistic in Orlando, a sub-series of Rosé All Day here on Just Juleigh channel on YouTube. My name is Juleigh, and I'm here with my co-host, a little lovely and adorable Rebecca Davis, who last week we showed a repeat of a show from a couple of weeks ago. The week before that, we pre-taped because she was going to New York, and I had all this stuff going on for Halloween. But now we're back. Tonight we are back live, and we have a great show planned. And so we're going to get right to it. I actually stopped on the way home because why? I fucking deserve it. And I got myself a steak, some portobello mushrooms, and I picked up a brand new rosé that I haven't tried yet. It was BOGO. Who doesn't like BOGO? And so my wine tonight is from... Oops, that's not even what I wanted. My wine tonight is a bottled estate wine from the Central Valley of Chile, and it is called Poppy, which I thought was super appropriate because lately I've been drifting towards the Latino community, and I am in dire need of a good Poppy experience. So I thought, Poppy it is. That's my wine tonight. Let me tell you, it is, unlike other rosés, it is very light. The palate is very light. I'm having it tonight with a steak and portobello mushrooms. It's very refreshing. It's very crisp. It's very light. So if you're looking for that kind of embodiment in a rosé, check it out. I got it at Winn-Dixie on BOGO. And Rebecca is drinking rosé by Free Spirits, and it is called Free Reign. That would be rain at the bottom, like a queen, as we are. And we've been catching up, but now we're going to get right into it. So tonight's episode, everybody, if you are watching us live, there is a chat comment section, and you can ask us real-time questions, and you can ask us and chime in into the chat. Tell us what you have going on as well as it pertains to the subject matter at hand. Each week we try to talk about one certain thing that has to do with online dating, period. We are in a big city, Orlando. I am. Rebecca is joining us from Savannah. But we try and talk about a topic. We talk about that for about the first 20, 25 minutes. Then we talk about gutter swipes. If you're new and you don't know what a gutter swipe is, we'll classify that for you. We kind of touch base on dates that I've had from previous episodes and kind of follow-ups. We talk about that. And then Rebecca selects new individuals for me to engage with and possibly date in this big metro city. And that's what Optimistic in Orlando is about. So tonight's episode is not even honest, but how much do you reveal to your parents if you're older, right? So we're talking once you have gotten into that older subset of adulthood and you're dating and your parents are like, why are you still single? Why haven't you found somebody yet? How honest are you with them about what you're looking for in a relationship? How much info or privacy do you open up to family and friends that you're close to when telling them exactly what you're looking for in a relationship? And then why might that be important? So we're going to let Rebecca start because she had an interesting revelation while she was on hiatus, and she's going to tell us about it.
Yeah. So I took this program that kind of like helps you get more authentic with people, and they kind of encourage you to have conversations with people that you haven't been honest with. And I'm like, I'm not going to do that assignment. But then, of course, my mom keeps like ringing to my head because my mother is She's conservative. She comes from a Christian background. I was raised at a time in which it was not okay with Jesus to be gay.
Very much like my family. Got it. Yeah.
And my mom hasn't ever really let go of that, but I think she has evolved a lot more in terms of like how she responds to that and how she responds to me. And I had come out to her about being bisexual several years ago, and it was a difficult conversation for us. I mean, I did not get disowned, but it was she made it clear that it was hard for her to get that news, and it was a disruptive conversation. But then after that, our relationship deepened quite a bit. But what had happened is over time I was more actively dating men. And so I would tell her about all the men I was dating, and I would hide from her any women that were in my life because I just didn't want to have to feel that friction or intensity or whatever. She and I are very close. Um, and I recently had so she kind of, the way I wanted her to feel about it was that I had gone through this phase and now I was redeemed. And there was a girl that I was in a close friendship with that I would visit in New York, and we did very coupley things, and it never fully developed into a dating relationship. But the fact that there was something between us was very, very active in it. My friend calls it a sapphic friendship. Okay. So I would tell my mom almost like every detail of drama that would happen between me and this girl, and that I was going up to this place and that I had Thanksgiving with her family or whatever it was. And I would leave out even remotely the idea that there was anything romantic going on between us. She was just like my special friend. And I bet my parents are not as stupid as they thought they were.
Right.
However, I was really starting to, by not being honest about this, was really starting to feel like I had this like secret life. And I was like, how much of it is like, you obviously don't have to tell your parents about your sex life in order to share about them with dating? And how much is it like, I'm opening up to you about the details of this friendship and we're in basically a relationship and I'm lying to you about that. So I did have a conversation with her. I was terrified about it, but I said to her, sometimes I feel like I have to hide things from you, and I need you to know that women are still a big part of my life, and that this was with this woman. And she really embraced me in this it was over the phone, but she was just like, I can totally understand why you would hide some things, and of course I love you and stuff. And I'm telling you, I really was like, yeah, I know exactly how she's going to respond. It's going to be weird. And it wasn't. So what it made me think through, though, is like, and she said, I know you hide some details about your life from me. She's like, it's normal to do with parents. She's like, I'm not upset by it. It's okay. And so I just started thinking about like, on what level are you kind of no longer close with someone if you're really close with them, but you're leaving out key details? Like the gender of someone that you're seeing, or like, do you have to get into it if you do kink stuff with someone and that's your primary dynamic with them? So anyway, it just kind of brought up to me, like, I think everyone has their own compass, but I know somebody who's very involved in kink and not a single one of his friends knows. And I'm like, how are you even close with them if they have no idea that you have this aspect to your life?
I think sometimes I look, because obviously with online dating, you're going to come across people that have fetishes and kinks. I mean, we've talked about that before, especially when people are involved. So, we've talked about this a lot, and this is kind of the reason we're doing this show as well. But like, I have a huge subset. I date straight men. I date gay men. I joke all the time that I date dick, right? So when I was growing up and I was in the boy vessel, I thought I was gay. I thought I was gay because I always liked men. Now, there was nobody in my life that was telling me this is what gay means, because I grew up kind of in that same sheltered, it was wrong. I grew up in the 80s and the 90s. Anything you saw in media and news was gay men give each other AIDS and stay away from them and don't sit on the same toilet seat and don't go on the same bed. Like just all this kind of misinformation. And my uncle, which I write about in the book, and I just, in fact, had read the chapter to my mother recently. My uncle was gay, and he was a news anchor in Dallas in the 80s. Very well known, and supported, and not the gay aspect, but as a news anchor, very well known, and still in the times of, if it gets out, it could ruin my career kind of thing. And I remember when he came out, well, I remember we used to go to church every Sunday, and then we would go spend, we'd go to lunch with him and his then boyfriend in Dallas. And, you know, my parents never told my older brother and I that he was gay. That was never talked about. And then we eventually were like, we knew he was gay. I mean, something happened. I'm not going to divulge that during this. It's in my book in detail, but inevitably we ended up losing him. And we were like, we knew he was gay. And my parents were like, what? How do you mean you knew? And I'm like, kids aren't dumb. We're not dumb. Like, we may not have had a word for it, although we did. But I mean, we're not dumb, you know. And we didn't talk about it for the longest time. And then when I came out as gay, thinking that's what I was, you know, we had a lot of talks in my family where my mom and dad were like, just because you have an extra X, that doesn't mean you're gay. And I was like, okay, well, I'm still having these feelings. I still like men. Flash forward to me having to transition later on in life because of all the intersex and XXY stuff. And my dad turns to me recently, and now he is much older, right? And we're all adults. And he turns to me and he goes, you know, your mom and I have talked about it. We don't think you were ever gay. You have more female in you than you did male, and we think you just like men. And I thought, okay, like, I'm glad that was his revelation, and I'm glad that we're going there. But every time now, you know, last Thanksgiving, I went to visit them, and I was laughing. I'm not going to tell one of the big stories that my friends all know, but you literally go, oh gosh, we're going there? Like, we're going to talk about it? But I think as our parents get older, they want to know why you're not in a relationship. They want to know why you don't have a significant other. Parents and your close loved ones, i.e. friends, like my roommates, Nate and Manny. I just had a conversation this morning with Manny about it. And I was in tears because I said, nobody wants to be alone. And if you're honest and you tell the people in your life that truly love you and are looking out for you why you think you are, or why you think you're having the struggles you're having, in some way it ingratiates more to you, that connection. And they may be able to say, hey, look at it this way, or maybe try it this way, or that's cool. And going back to the kink stuff, you know, we joke, one of the questions on the Hive app that you and I use a lot is, what's something you're glad your parents don't know? And my stock answer used to be that I'm kinky. And my mom recently was like, oh, we know. Where do you think you got it from? And I thought, oh, like, you know, but I'm in my late 40s. And, you know, these are things we don't necessarily talk about, but I got it from somewhere, right? You get it from somewhere. Sorry, my earring's bothering me. I wanted to talk. Laurie is joining us right now. And Laurie says her 39-year-old son, we talked about it later on in the chat. She said, my son, who is gay, overshares with me. rolling on the floor laughing. I have some hilarious stories. I want to ask her, he's 39, is it oversharing, or do you find on some level, Lori, that it enables you to connect maybe in a closer way to him that you've never connected before? And we'll wait for her answer. Rebecca, you had said to me as we planned to pick a topic for this week, and we were talking about a lot of different things, you had said the whole reason you reached out to your mother in the first place was because of a conversation you heard that I had with my parents. Do you want to elaborate on that?
Yeah. So you had told me that you decided to involve your parents in your experience of transitioning, in your experience of choosing your name, and your experience of things that I think people typically feel like they have to keep separate from parents, especially I think what I was struggling with, and this, I will say the disclaimer is that so many people out there who do share something with their parents are not welcomed or not safe. And so I'm not suggesting, I'm not trying to inspire anyone to respect those boundaries for themselves. But I think a lot of us assume that there is no space, and we don't realize that our parents are trying to love us in the way that they can, and they don't always know what to do. And sometimes when you come to them with something in a light that's like, here's where I'm at, I haven't completely figured this out, but I want to allow you to be part of the witnessing of my life, or the witnessing that I haven't figured this out. And I just thought it was like so inspiring that given your parents' background and all of those things, that you would be so generous and that you got a really great result out of it.
I've always said, I think you get more flies with honey. I think, ideally, your parents and your close friends, right? My great-grandfather used to say something to us growing up. My mom's repeated it often enough. I think it totally parlays into dating and kind of this show too. But, when you perish, no matter where you go or where you think you go in this lifetime, when you perish, you will have 5 close friends that you can count on your hand. You're not going to have 6. You won't have 7. You may have acquaintances, but you will have 5. You will have up to 5. You may not even have a full 5. But your closest friends, you will be able to count on one hand. And I didn't know what that meant for the longest time. There are people in your life that do 100% care about you on a different level than your parents care about you. I think all parents want to see their children happy. I think that they want to make sure that their parents or their kids are loved and cherished and respected. I think, a lot of families, a lot of parents, a lot of kids. I know somebody years ago that got a divorce from her husband because she thought he may be cheating on her. There was a lot of abuse and different things going on with their marriage. And she did not opt to tell her family and friends. And after the fact, they were like, why didn't you tell us? And she said, ideally, I would have been the first in the family that ended a relationship due to divorce. And I thought, why don't we talk about that? We need to talk about that. Like, why is there such a stigma in society to not talk about things that are taboo, to not discuss mental illness, to not discuss anything that has to do with bipolar, why is there such a disconnect in this world to shove everything that you don't want to talk about under the rug? Mm-hmm. And it affects everybody and everything and every aspect of your life. It does. Mm-hmm. I would rather be 100. Now, I am not talking about, I don't call my parents and say, hey, somebody asked me to purchase a sex swing and hang it up in the garage. They don't need to know that. But I think it's fun and jovial somewhat to be like, yeah, I'm a little kinky. Have fun with it. One of my favorite stories is when I was with my parents a couple of years ago for Thanksgiving. My mom and dad talk all the time when they get in the car. And I was tired. And so I kind of sat back in the back of the car and rested my eyes. And my dad turned to my mom and he said, and this is when I was like, okay, things are changing. My dad turned to my mom and said, did you see how many men she pulled at the restaurant? And my mom went, oh my God, she pulled like 4 men outside of the bathroom. They were in age range. They were from young to old, and some of them had partners already. My dad's like, she pulled 3 men in the gift shop and she wasn't even trying. And my dad's like, she's stunning. And I'm in the back like, you know, and so they notice, people around us notice these things and they want the best for you. And sometimes I think if you're not 100% honest, I think if you're not 100% honest with the people that are in your life that are invested, you're not going to be 100% honest with the people you're trying to date. And you're not going to be 100% honest with what you want in a relationship because the rest of the world is telling you to hide it. And I think there's a huge disconnect, especially in online dating. And the more that we peruse and talk about gutter swipes and everything else, I think there's a huge disconnect. And then when people do come forward and say, hey, I have a lollipop fetish, people are like, what? I could never take you home to my parents. Right? That's just your thing, right? So we're going to go ahead and close up this talk. We asked Lori. Oh, she didn't answer. Why don't y'all just Skype? Hi, dog lover, because it's a podcast and it's a video podcast. And so if we Skype, that would just be a conversation between 2 people. And we're trying to help people with a educational podcast. Okay, we are moving on to gutter swipes. We've had a couple this week. So let's go to gutter swipes. Gas station chocolate. Gutter swipes. So we actually had a lot of gutter swipes this week. I'm going to go ahead and just close this out real fast. Okay. Talking about gutter swipes. Gutter swipes and gas station chocolate, right? We've talked about this before. So you sent me some gutter swipes today. And just real fast, let's tell people that are listening and joining us at home and people that wonder why we're not just Skyping what a gutter swipe is, Rebecca.
So a gutter swipe is somebody that is usually like really hot and has gym selfies or is somewhat along those lines of attractive that typically Julie has sometimes fallen for in the past, that almost always, I mean, we have yet to be proved wrong, inevitably end up sending a dick pic or asking about weird stuff within the first few days of conversation. And are ultimately kind of just, they behave like trash people in the way that they treat you and interact with you. And at this point in our experience, we have been able to sniff them out fairly early on. But what we do is we swipe on them to see if our assumptions that they're a gutter swipe are actually true.
Sorry, I'm eating my steak still from dinner, but we're going right into the gutter swipes. So today she actually sent me a couple, and some of them have absolutely already proven and given their tail away. Their tell, as we say, either their tell picture or their tell conversation. Some have already unmatched. We're going to talk about, we give code names on this show. So code names for this guy, because we never want to reveal their true name, right? We are picking from a show called, or an app called The Hive, that we've called The Hive. And we are calling this gentleman Feedy. We're calling him Feedy, which kind of falls over into the kink thing that we were just talking about. So I just want to read you Feedy's. He's attractive. He's attractive. Definitely somebody I would probably have fallen for 8 episodes ago. Hook, line, and sinker. Yep. So his profile says, come at me with some creativity. I'm going to answer the question, how are you? So you don't have to. I'm doing really, really good. No complaints. I'm a pretty busy guy. I own a couple of businesses and spend as much time with my daughter as I'm capable of doing. 5'8", Gemini, has some really great pictures. All of the pictures, though, are pretty much in a fitness or gym type atmosphere, and he is looking at himself in all of the pictures, right? He's looking at himself in a camera. He's taking a selfie. For Rebecca, those would be telltale signs that he is going to be totally into himself in kind of a gutter. The question we asked him in the Hive was, what's the first thing you find attractive in someone? My response was wit and eyes. His response was pretty feet. I replied with, oh, feet are nice. Yes. Now you ask a question. Do you have pretty feet?
That's what he says. Is do you
That's
have?
what he said. Do you have pretty feet? I said I was a dancer. I have dancer feet, which if you're a dancer, if you danced in the past, that means that you have feet that are pretty much beaten up, tough, right? Not necessarily pretty. And I'm missing 2 toes. Oh, I'd love to see. Sent him a couple of pictures of my feet. He said, the soles of your feet look really nice, and you have nice titties too. So to prove Rebecca's point, that would be a perfect gutter swipe because it aligns with what she said was going to happen. Now, here's what's weird about it. I had said to Rebecca when I read the profile, how weird that you would say you like to spend a lot of time with your daughter, because I do not think most men would want another guy saying to their daughter, let me see your feet and you have nice tits. Call me naive, but I don't think I am being naive.
It's weird because I feel like there are guys that it's the classic I'm a nice guy move, and they have really upped their game to like details like I'm a great dad. And it's like, yeah, but you're still going to try to show me your dick in the first 5 minutes of our date. Yeah, so this guy, I feel like he ended up being exactly, like you said, exactly what we expected. He does have really nice big arms, though, but he can carry his daughter in them and not you.
Hi, Stevie. We have some other people joining us in chat. Stevie, thank you so much. She said you'll get an audience in no time. Or he. I'm sorry. I don't know if you are male or female. But we know it is our podcast, Optimistic in Orlando. Dog Lover said, eating on a podcast, you cook on here too. It is not a cooking show. However, there's not enough hours in the day or minutes for adults that juggle multiple things to do multiple things, right? So yes, I eat sometimes on my fucking podcast. Because why? It's my fucking podcast. So, okay.
Oh, I did want to, do we have more guests to greet?
No.
So I did want to say this about kink. So I recently learned a little bit about an app out there that people who are poly find each other, people with kinks find each other. It's similar to that other app that we have talked about. I can't remember what you call it on here, but Finder maybe, but where people who date dick find each other. But on this one, it's like this very like classy setup, very elegantly done. Most of the people on there are vegan. But what I've noticed is that so people can reach out to you without matching, and some men have reached out to me. And they have like these really evolved, a lot of people, descriptions of like, okay, this is, my background with this, blah, blah, blah. And then you're still getting, so are you going to peg me until I come, as like the opening line? And I'm like, I did not research this app to try to learn a little bit about like the community that's out there in order to get the same shit that you can get on Tinder. But what I want to ask you, Julie, is do you think that there are two sets of rules for how you engage on an app where it's very distinct early on that there's a kink? So this guy revealed himself in the question and then sort of was like, this is fair game to talk about. Is there a way to talk about a thing that's explicit without being gross?
I mean, I think it depends on your level of what you deem to be appropriate behavior and what you don't. I think, especially with dating and kinks and fetishes, boundaries are really important. We talked about that before. I think if somebody leads with something like that, I think it really comes down to the conversation that you have with them. And if you feel like that is something that you can handle or deal with. Look, at the end of the day, and I say it every day when I'm talking to people about relationships, let's take sex, right? Sex and a relationship are two different things, right? Sex is about pleasure. It's about people used to ask me all the time, as an intersex woman, how do you have sex? And I would always be like, the same way you have sex. Like, I meet somebody and we talk about what we like doing, and then we do it to each other. And then I make sure that they have pleasure and they make sure I have pleasure. And then if we have pleasure together and we like it, we'll do it again. It's not rocket science. So I think when it comes to things like kinks and fetishes, that's when the door has to be open and you have to say, okay, let's take Feety. We know he's a gutter swipe. If I was really into feet, he didn't seem to have a problem that you have two toes missing, right? So if that's what he's into, that's what he's into. And if that's going to bring him pleasure and I'm in a relationship with him or I date him, then by all means, I'm going to allow him access to my feet, right?
But here's my thing is we don't like it on this app that he led with this. Like, how important is context?
I don't like it on this app because we are in the process of trying to find somebody to date long term, and that's not what you should lead with. In the same regards, how many men have I met that will say, I want to find the one. I'm looking to date and find the one. And then you go out on a date with them and then they become radio silent for 2 or 3 weeks. And then they pop back in and say, hey, work has been really crazy. I've been really busy. I still want to see you. I still want to take you out. But, it's like I'd said, don't feed people the line that you want to be in a relationship and that you are looking to find the one if you cannot be consistent enough to follow through. Mm-hmm. That's huge. I'm currently dating somebody I did not meet on the app who has a little bit of a consistency issue. And what I mean by that is he will tell me all the time, I like you. I can't wait to see you again. But then we go weeks where we don't see each other. And then he will say, can't wait to spend time with you. And then he won't set anything up. And then he's very busy in his career. So the individual that set us up initially, I've known for about 30 years. And she used to date him. And I said, what gives? And she had actually told me recently, she goes, you come across as very needy. And I said, excuse me, if expecting somebody to give me time and consistency and be present in my day-to-day life is me being needy, then yes, I guess I'm needy. And we worked through it. She later said, that's not what I meant. She just goes, you came across as saying you wanted him when you wanted him. And I said, no, if you are open to dating and finding the one, make yourself available to dating and finding the one. If you can't give me that consistency and that scheduled time, then I need to move on. Mm-hmm. I'm 48. I need to not wait for another 4 or 5 fucking years for you to figure out, because let's be honest, if you are truly dating, now you can say you don't like me, that's fine. That is still closure for me and I can move on. Then cut me loose. But there is a great saying right now across social media called let them, right? They want to date you, let them. They want to take you out to dinner, let them. They want to get a tattoo, let them. They want to climb Mount Everest, let them, right? And essentially what that means is let them do it. But I guarantee you, I know people that are super fucking busy and they also are looking for a relationship and love, and they will make the time to include the other person. They will make the time to go out on a date. They will make the time to pick them up and take them on a walk. They will make the time to meet them for coffee. They make the time. So if that's what you're really looking for, make the time and include that person. And if that's something you cannot commit to or give them, cut them free. And when we had this conversation later, the person that originally called me needy said, yeah, they do have commitment issues. And I was like,
I'm not going to attack this person, but I will say separately, whenever I've come across things where people call one needy, it typically doesn't come from people who have had consistent experiences, and in this case, maybe with that other person, where the needs were really met. Because it's like, and also my thing about being needy is you get to decide what you want. And then if you're not getting what you want, you can move on. It's like, yeah, let them not be available and then move on. But it's not like you are emotionally broken because you want a certain thing and you're like, I'm not going to get it from you. Let's shake hands and move on. You're not going to get what you want unless you actually have some rules around that and some standards about not settling for not getting it.
Right. Stevie actually said, they have a great point. Sorry, you still haven't shared with us if you're male or female. It doesn't matter. Give him 1 week to make a plan.
I like that.
If he doesn't, next. Right? And people go, oh my gosh, how can you date more than one person? And I often have to say, that's what dating is. I'm not exclusive with anybody. That's what dating is. You are dating to find the person that you meet with and you match with on multiple levels. So it is okay to date. That's what dating is. I also believe in dating with a purpose, which I tend to do. I'm dating with a purpose. I don't want to be dating at 52. I don't want to be dating at 60. I know a lot of people are, because a lot of people are commitment phobic and have other issues that get in the way. I would hope, we talk about Mr. Chips. Everybody wants to know about Mr. Chips. We went out on that date a couple of weeks ago and went and saw The Nun. Had a great time. We called him Mr. Chips because we found some potato chips at a local eatery that we loved. I really like him. I've spent time with him maybe twice. He's got a very busy job. But again, let them. I feel like I told him, I said, well, at least I know it's not due to a lack of interest on your part. It's just a time scheduling thing for you. However, I would like to think that if we start to have a relationship, you're going to figure out a way to not work as much, because we're both older. And I don't want you. What's the purpose in dating if that's what's available to you?
I mean, right? That's a good topic that we should explore sometime, is at what point in time do you get to the place in which the person should start really making time for you or changing schedules or things like that. You know, I feel like everybody has a different kind of time frame, because sometimes at first when you're still sort of getting to know someone, you're not going to make quite as many sacrifices, but sort of what's your level of like sacrifices you require. So maybe we should talk about that sometime.
We will, absolutely. And we're going to do one more gutter swipe tonight, and then we're going to jump into your picks for me, because it's already about 7:40. We may go a little bit over tonight, and that's okay. We haven't been live in a while. So this next guy, I don't know what I want to call him. Super cute. Super cute. You and I had talked about him before. We're just going to call him Cold Plasma, because that has something to do with his job. So we're going to call him Cold Plasma. He says, let me start off with, I hate this app. I'm an outdoorsy, adventurous type of guy looking for a like-minded match. I'm picky. If we match, feel special. I'm not a fan of mindless texting or hive small talk. I'm brutally honest. If we match, let's grab a drink and talk in person. Any questions asked. Now, here's the thing. Rebecca does a great job of making sure that she's picking people, whether they be gutter swipes or not, that live near me. She's not really sure why she picked this one initially as a gutter swipe. However, he does live in Pennsylvania, so it's going to make, even if we connect on some level, difficult, unless he's down here all the time. Now, we thought he was going to be a gutter swipe. The question we asked him was, what's your go-to? Oh, that's not the first question. When do you feel your sexiest? My reply, when all eyes are upon me. His reply, after a shower. Okay, right? Maybe feeling clean is his thing. What's your go-to comfort food? I said anything with cheese. He said roast beef from the Ale House. Now, the Ale House, I don't know if they've got those in other places like Pennsylvania. I know they're big here down in Florida, so maybe he lives here. I don't know. Anyway.
That's a good match, by the way, the cheese and the roast beef from the Ale House. Mm-hmm.
So I said, yum, your turn to ask. He said, what's your favorite vacation destination? I said, Greece or Australia, or I want to go to Italy. He said, for the sights or the food? I said, both. What about you? And his last response was mountains and the beach. Tahoe, Whistler, New Zealand. So while we thought he was going to be a gutter, he has not shown us his telltale yet that would put him in that category.
He hasn't. This is actually, for the Hive and other apps, pretty engaging conversation.
Yeah. I'm not sure how I'm going to respond to that. I could say,
because you're going to fall in love with a man in Pennsylvania is what's going to happen.
I'm going to say my grandparents did New Zealand often. They loved it there. I've never been.
Okay, yeah, that's good, because we'll see if he can work off of that with some personal details now.
Maybe he'll be like, hey, let's go. I'll be like, I got my passport. Let's go. Okay, so that's Cold Plasma. We also got a response from another guy.
This is great.
This is great. And we'll cover him, and then we'll go into your matches. We still have some time. So again, Rebecca said she didn't know if he was going to be a gutter swipe or not. If you want to give him a nickname, you can. Just
let me do the run through on this guy.
Okay.
So I'm just gonna call him Muscles, to be quite honest.
Okay.
But his first picture is like a white button-down shirt, and he's almost ripping through it with his body. And he's like kind of like almost spread eagle on like a perch on a rooftop or something. and like has glasses and looks cool, like a businessman, but who's also super fit. He's 33. He says active, fit, educated, and new to the area. And then he's 6'2", active, grad school, socially drinks, looking for something casual, which we always know you're going to get about, 80% of what they offer. He's Christian. He's interested in making videos, basketball, video games, and dogs. Okay, then we have him. This is where we start to get questionable what's going to happen. So we have him in like gorgeous, like Miami crystal clear water, and he's going like this, shirtless. He looks like he's loving himself. Then after work, you can find me in the gym or getting poke after the gym. We have him hugging his husky on the couch, and then we have him like with a bunch of bros that are clearly all part of a bachelor party. He's shaking hands with a famous person I don't recognize, and then he looks like he's like with his mom and maybe his sister or family on a roller coaster. So it's a real toss-up. My guess was that he was going to be a gym rat who's obsessed with himself. So
Stevie just said, no chit chat. It's going to be hard. He's not going to be a talker. That's what Stevie said. And Stevie just said, I'm a girl. She's like, I'm a female. So we now know. But she's saying she doesn't feel like he's going to be a chit chatter. Maybe. So Rebecca's going to go ahead. Rebecca's going to read that first question and then his answer, which was kind of winded, Stevie. And then he did say, I was just thinking as she read the profile, he is a gym goer because he just responded with, he's been working, he's going to the gym. So, I mean, he loves spending time at the gym.
So you asked if you could fix a problem in society right now, what would it be? Which we love for a gutter swag because it's so hard for so many of them. He says, I'd want everyone to be more focused on everyone growing and helping each other to reach the goals we have for ourselves. But that also means dealing with people who don't know how to help themselves, I'm assuming. LOL, that's a complicated question. I kind of like that answer. And then your problem you'd want to solve is all the absolute hate, ... for what? Anyway, so then he goes, I hear that. I love it when people say that. I don't know why. It really gets me. And then he says, how are you? And you said, I'm great. How are you today? And he said, and this is where I'm like, here we go to what we expected. He's like, I'm great. Just working today, then hitting the gym later. What are you up to? And here's where I think Stevie, Clark Kent. Yeah, that's actually not a good nickname. Well, that's not a bad nickname. I think we should change it to that. He is probably going to be what you're describing in the sense that after his great starting answer, most things will go back to the gym and him working and the poke bowl, and that will be the conversation. And he will be responsive, but it won't be thrilling.
Right.
We'll have to find out for you.
Right. We'll have to find out. Hey, let's get to why everybody tunes in to watch Juleigh suffer.
And here's the thing, guys. I have started over the course of the weeks we've been doing this, getting a little bit more and more depressed about the app. I'm just going to say it. I have to admit it. It's really hard for me to choose every week multiple people that I would want Juleigh to be with because there are so few on this app. So you're going to have to bear with us that what I choose and if they work out or not is not a reflection of what I actually want for Juleigh, which is exactly what everyone is facing in the world. It's not necessarily what you actually want. It's what you're going to try for to see what happens. Okay, so that said, I'm pulling up my first person now.
So what Rebecca likes to do is she goes in, she looks through all of my options, which, to be honest, even while she was in New York, there were over 300 people waiting to be swiped on. Like, it was a little overwhelming, and I have to be honest with her because we promised each other we wouldn't do this, but I'm telling her because she was here. I did have a moment of weakness. I went in one night and cleared like 300 people out one weekend.
I am not mad at you for that because I'm not mad at you for that. You knew that I was on my soul searching journey. It's okay.
Well, and it just, you're like, ick. Sometimes I feel like online dating is, no.
It's an exercise in no. If you have that problem, just get online. So, but what I will say, Julie, is then that means that you knowed some of my pet matches that I had for you at the beginning because they're no longer there. But you know what? Hey, we saved everyone some time. All right. So this person is, let's see. So he's 38. He's the CEO at a venture capital place. He's sitting at what looks like a brunch place, looks friendly, black t-shirt, great face. I have always connected best with women older than me. I am seeking to find someone who is open-minded, loves trying new things, and has a strong sense of self. I am in an E&M relationship and looking for someone who is accepting. Okay. You don't like that. I know you don't like that.
You can tell because of my face, can't you?
It was very obvious.
So for people that do not know, E&M, because a lot of people don't, especially people that are not in the dating world. E&M means ethically non-monogamous, meaning they're often in an open relationship or they are with somebody, but they're open to being with other people. I'm going to say it. I'm going to say it for everybody listening at home, for everybody listening on Spotify. I think that's a cop-out. I think that's a way to say you're into cheating.
Okay.
You can disagree, but...
Well, I agree with you 90% of the time. I think most people use that as a way to be non-committal and have their cake and eat it too. And there is that precious 10% who there's a lot of love to be had and a lot of awesome experiences. So we can pass on him already because this is what the hard thing about dating is. You shouldn't compromise if you've made up your mind. You have changed your opinion since the last time we spoke about this matter. It sounds like a hard no for you at this point. So we will pass on him.
Okay.
Great. All right. So the next one. And keep in mind, folks, I'm also looking for Julie, not just for her soulmate, but for higher quality chocolate, as in people who are maybe just for a short time, but are better quality short time people, or a 360 experience for her to choose from. But Julie is ultimately looking for a partner.
Or if you haven't watched all our episodes, go back and learn about balcony people versus basement people. She's trying to find me people that are in the balcony.
Yep. Any purpose, but in the balcony. Okay. So this person that's a good question on this one. He doesn't look like a basement person to me. Guys, definitely watch that episode. Otherwise, you'll think that we are elitist in some way.
We're not.
So
we talk about patio people too.
So he's 33. He's a sales manager. I am totally fine with telling our parents. I thought this was cute for this episode. We met crashing our shopping carts at the end of the aisle in the grocery store. He's 6 foot, down to earth, homeowner, love being outside and being active, looking for someone that wants to build together and be a team. He's an active Libra who drinks socially, never smokes. He wants a relationship. He wants kids someday, but I find that's never always.
How old is he?
33.
Yeah.
He's into scuba diving, concerts, stand-up, and comedy. What makes a relationship great is trust. I quote too much from great comedies like Chappelle's Show. I'm still not over the final season of Game of Thrones.
Okay.
You don't like him.
No, I love him.
Okay. Now, I'm going to send you a picture. You are going to notice an immediate detail about him that I never think is a problem, but some people do have a problem.
Okay. Incoming.
Oh, oops, I sent that to myself.
She's like, no, you don't like him. I'm like, I'm trying to cut this steak. I'm enjoying the steak tonight.
Okay.
Incoming. Now, normally she'll send them to me. I will give him a code name because we don't want to reveal his real name. Oh, he is cute.
He is cute. Now, his profile, I also realized I can send you now links to his profile so we can get you the whole. Oh, this is already a link to the profile. Anyway, I am going to just take you on that, even though there are some other photos where I hate to say this to him if you guys do end up together, I don't like his sunglasses. But I'm going to go ahead and just click yes, we matched.
Okay.
Now, would you like to come up with a question while we're on here or get back with the audience later?
Well, I mean, we're doing it. So just come up with a question. You pick.
What's one wrong in the world that you'd like to write? I think that's suitable for him.
That's suitable. Okay. And my stock answer right now is, especially with everything going on overseas, the division and hate is deplorable. I know it's an answer that can't be solved overnight, but I really wish I could just snap my fingers and just make people love each other across the board.
Okay, so I originally wrote down the division and hate in this world is deplorable, but I really like, for dating purposes, I wish I could snap my fingers and make everybody love each other.
Love each other. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Now they have 23 hours to reply to you.
Stevie said he's great. That's what I
love it. That's
what I think. And he's cute.
He is cute. You will look through all his photos and you'll see exactly how cute he is to you.
Okay.
Next,
what are we going to call him? Let's call him Roofing.
Roofy.
Roofy.
That's terrible, but we should do it anyway.
It's not because he would. It's not because he would. It's because his business is roofing. So we're calling him Roofy.
Oh, oops. I accidentally just automatically matched you with this latest person. Don't look at him yet. I can unmatch in a second if you don't like it.
Okay, let's see.
So he is, don't look at him yet. Just eat your steak.
I'm not. I'm eating my steak.
45. He does soccer coaching. The first photo, he's taking a picture in what looks like it might be his home or a hotel room, but there's probably like a mirror on the closet. He's wearing a tie and he's dressed. And it's a mirror selfie. He looks cute. He looks cute on it. Recently moved to Florida, not proud to be on a dating app. I would live on the beach if it was allowed. He's active. He has an undergrad degree. He's looking for a relationship. He's not sure yet if he wants kids. He likes the gym, soccer, basketball, football, and nutrition. You can watch him play all those sports and be his cheerleader. Then we have another one. Now, the thing is I'm really interested.
I kind of like that he doesn't want me to join in. I kind of like that because let's be honest, I'm not. I'll cheer from the sidelines.
He didn't say that. I did, but I have a feeling he looks like the kind of person that would prefer an audience than a companion in those sports. Not necessarily in a bad way, in the right way. Okay. The quickest way to my heart is be genuine, make me laugh, enjoy being active, and having fun. Being active can mean many different things. Then we have another selfie in what looks like, I don't know, storage space. Then we have a cutoff photo of him with a friend. We'll get along if you don't take yourself too seriously and can hold your own in some banter. And then he has a very cute dog that's like a Frenchie, I think. So
I like Frenchies.
I am going to send you his picture. I just want the audience to know I am not going to be responsible for anything this man does or does not do that's positive or negative. However, I think if you like him, we might be worth giving him a chance. So I'm going to send you his photo. Do you want his photo?
Yeah.
Okay.
Rebecca says she can always tell when I look at a photo because she can just tell. Oh. He's cute.
He's cute.
He's cute.
Some of his photos, I would say my only thing about him, now he's in your matches now, so should, oh yeah, the other guy that we reached out to is in there. My only thing is I don't know that he's full balcony. He looks balcony. I don't know if energetically he's full balcony. But I don't think he's basement.
Let's match. The whole thing is
you gotta just, it's a numbers game. Okay,
match.
so
although so let's call him goalie because of his job, goalie.
Yeah. Okay. What is the greatest misconception about you? Maybe we'll find out everything I think is wrong. Or yeah, let's do that. Okay. So what is the greatest misconception about you? Also, looks like we're about over time. Is he our last one?
No, we'll do one more after this because we haven't been live in a while. So we'll go into one more. Let's give the people what they want. They log in to see us match. We can even do two more if you want. What's the greatest misconception about me? That I don't know. What do you think? Okay, coming from a third party, what do you think people misconceive about me? You've spent time with me.
This is like putting me on the spot.
I know, but that's what friends are for.
What people misconceive about, I think they might misconceive that you're a party animal, like only a party animal. I could see someone picking up on that. Like if they met you out and about in town, that you don't have like a quieter, totally chill.
Yeah, do that. Say that people think I'm always on 24/7.
Yeah.
That I don't have a soft side. Like that I don't have like a sit at home and read in the rain kind of, you don't have to write all that, but like that's a good one. Because we know that's not true. I like to chill at home as much as the next person.
Yeah, I think the more I've gotten to know you, the more I see a lot of your chill sides. And I'm like,
it's so funny because I just said to somebody the other day, somebody asked me, he's married. We were just kind of doing the whole work, like get to know somebody. But he was like, if we were dating, what would you do like on a chill Sunday? And I was like, probably, going into the winter, I'd make a big batch of white chili and let you watch sports. And, I'd probably sit next to you and scroll through Amazon and look for like gifts for people for Christmas or ideas for like I'm super like nesty homebody and people think I want to go out and party all the time. The only reason I go out and party all the time and drink and have fun is because I don't want to be at home alone.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And so I always tell people, I'm like, somebody said to me the other day, they said, and it was funny. I said on TikTok, they said, I don't have any friends. And I said, then get dressed and go to a bar locally and make some friends. It's no different than when you're in school and you go to recess for the first time and you don't know anybody. You find people in your tribe and you go hang out with them on the swing set. And then you go home and be like, yo, I met this great kid at recess today. We're not in the same class, but I really enjoy them. And I can't wait to see him again tomorrow. I mean, It's the same. So when adults are like, I don't have your confidence, I don't have any friends, I'm like, look, I don't love eating by myself. It's one of the things that I absolutely hate. I love going to the movies by myself sometimes. I don't love eating by myself as I get older. But sometimes you have to take yourself and a book.
A book is on your phone the whole time.
Get dressed up, grab a book, grab a magazine, right? Go to a bar. I've always said this, especially for people that are trying to date. You attract what you go after, kind of, right? And people are like, what if I want to date a banker? Okay. Find the financial center in your neighborhood or town. Go to a bar in the financial center and sit there and have a drink. Even if you're not a drinker. Order
non-alcoholic drink.
Soda water with lime. They don't need to know there's not vodka or gin in that drink. Sit in the corner. Pretend like you're reading a book and you're enjoying your time. You will get noticed. Somebody will come up and say hi to you.
That's true.
It's up to you whether you turn it into a friendship or a date.
That's true. People don't love leaving a loner. If they can see that you're not mean and closed off and that you're not having that vibe, I do find people are always like, oh, are you here by yourself? You should come join our thing. And so, but Julie, you might be underselling a little bit the part of your personality that is genuinely magnetic. So you probably have a higher hit rate than most of us, but your point is absolutely true. And it's also a numbers game. You just have to get out there and get comfortable with it. I would say sit at the bar if you're,
I appreciate that. But like, look, even if you are, well, here's another great example. I don't have kids. Well, I had one, but you have kids. You're a single parent. You go to the playground. How many single mothers will notice that their kids are playing with somebody and then turn to the nanny or the mother and say, hey, I don't know if we have a lot in common, but our kids seem to hit it off. Let's set up a play date. And then the next thing you know, they've been best friends for 25 years and, you know, they're meeting people through the couple or they're, you know, that's how you make friends. That's how you open your circle. That's how you open things up to be productive, right?
You go where the people are.
You go where the people are.
The same is true. You can get a dog, go to dog parks. I have most of my friends right now, other than a Facebook group that I joined when I moved here. A lot of my friends come from this chorus I joined because I was like, I need to do something. I was going through a breakup. I'm like, I'm upset. I'm just going to start singing somewhere. I'll just see if they let me in. And I have a lot of friends from there now.
Well, and that's opened up your networking. That's how you met Bonnie.
That's how we met.
Literally that's so when people say to me, I don't have any friends, I'll say, go make some.
Yeah, you do have to.
It is scary. I'm not saying it's not scary 100% to be in that position. It is 100%, especially for those that are listening at home. It is, especially if you haven't dated in forever, or if you're coming out of a relationship where you were with the same person for 25 years and now you've gotten a divorce and you're like, I don't know the first fucking thing about dating. I don't know who I can fucking trust. I don't know if my friends are going to split and if they're going to go with my ex-husband or if they're going to go with me. Like, it doesn't matter. Mm-hmm. It is scary across the board. However, you take the first step. I am watching a great show right now, and then maybe we'll end this. We can do one more match because we need content for next week. But I'm watching a great show right now on Apple TV. And I binge watch television shows. So then when I've run out or caught up within the episode arc, you've got to wait. Like with the morning show, I'm like, oh, is it Wednesday yet? I want to see the next episode. A great show on Apple TV called Lessons in Chemistry. I keep meaning to look up Elizabeth Zott to see if she's an actual person that this television show has been made about. Stars Brie Larson. Anyway, there was a scene where it is from the dog's point of view. They're talking to the dog in one of the episodes, and the dog is talking about the individual in his life that he used to run every morning with. And he said, you know what my owner used to say to me every morning when I didn't want to run and I would slow down, kind of sniff around? He would say, the great thing about running is all you have to do is put one foot in front of the other. And all you have to do and all you have to think about is 1 foot, 1 foot, 1 foot, 1 foot, run, 1 foot, run, 1 foot, 1 foot. And eventually you're home. And I thought about that quote and I thought, okay, that literally pertains to everything we do in life. Everything. Friendships, relationships, work, networking, surviving, living, fighting cancer, growing up in an intersex life, alcoholism, issues you may have. You literally just have to put 1 foot in front of the next and in front of the next. And eventually you'll end up at your destination, whatever that may be for you. 1 foot.
I didn't to hear that. Thank you, Julie.
Look at Rosie all day giving you existential. But seriously,
yeah, it's
1
true.
foot. You know?
And I have literally seen you do that, even in having to move and all of that. And it's like, and all the stuff that you dealt with in the time that I've known you, you're actually worth saying that. I can take your word at that. You know what I mean?
Stevie just said, my son used to tell me the same thing. Go and sit at the bar. Mm-hmm. Someone will come up to talk to you. Now look, Stevie, that's great. And here's the thing. We're all looking for that great love of our life. But that great love of our life doesn't necessarily have to be committed to one vessel. That could be a friendship that blooms. That could be a sexual relationship. It could be just a relation. It could be just a connection with another human entity. Right? Rebecca and I talk about this all the time. We talked about it at the beginning of the show when she was talking about how she's kind of reintroduced women back into her life. We are all striving to find that one person that makes us feel like we are everything to somebody, because let's be honest, in this world that we're in everything that's going on in this world, in the chaos that's blooming around us, none of us want to fight alone, right? None of us want to be in that fight by ourselves. None of us. I will tell you, I have a new job where I am a fragrance girl at a retailer in town. Now it pays great money. I'm not saying anything bad about the job. I love it. But I got emotional yesterday because there were all these young 19 and 18-year-old kids bopping around the store, smelling cologne and perfume, giggling. Oh, I like this one on you. Oh, you smell so manly. La, 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 la. And I'm secretly in my head like, fucking buy the cologne and get out of my fucking face. Now, that was my reaction because I'm not experiencing that right now. I would give my eye tooth to be walking through any retail space with a guy that chooses to be with me smelling perfume. But that's not something I've ever been able to do. And so, of course, we are going to have a traumatic response to that experience. And I was like, and then my other, if you have the angel and the devil sitting on your side, the devil was like, screw them. The angel was like, buck up, buckaroo, because you work in fragrance in a retail space. You're about to get a double dose of holiday hoes that are loving on each other. And you still have to do your job. You still have to put 1 foot in front of the other to get a paycheck. 1 foot in front of the other to go home and not drink a whole bottle of rosé wine, one foot in front of the other. Like, good for them. The attitude I have today is great for them. I'm glad they're able to experience that. We all want to experience that. But
you know, that is also a good point in terms of when you see people being really, really happy and you don't have it, there is the automatic trauma response. But the part of us that can choose, you manifest more when you celebrate what you want, even when it's in other people. And so by choosing not to be a dick and just be like, all right, I have to buck up to do my job. And also, I'm not going to just sit around resentfully and treat these people poorly, helps manifest what they have in their life more for you.
right. And going back to it, Stevie just said, look, go sit in a bar. And it could become a friendship.
That's the thing. I also have friends from coffee shops.
Yes, you do. Yes, you do. But that's the thing. You open yourself up. And I think the other thing we have to remember when it comes to making friends or meeting people for relationships, you come in every week and you listen to us and we give you advice, and we're trying to help you navigate online dating as well with Optimistic in Orlando. And you come in and you listen to us, and we are very candid and open about not only what I've gone through, what she's gone through, what Rebecca's going through. We're very candid and open about it, right? That should be a lesson to everybody that's listening, that we're all going through the exact same thing, and that everybody sometimes deals with a lack of confidence. Everybody deals with a lack of stability in their relationships. Everybody has questions about somebody. We talked about it a couple of weeks ago when we didn't love the trend of people saying, what are your red flags? What are your green flags? You may not have any red flags or green flags. You just may not be a match for that individual that's in front of you, right? That's not a bad thing. But we're all going through the same issues, especially if you're single, especially if you're doing online dating. And Rebecca and I are hoping that you are learning things as you listen to us, that you also are maybe exercising gutter swipes, and that maybe you are being a little bit better as the weeks go on with picking gas station chocolate versus premium chocolate.
You mean premium versus gas station?
Well,
we can't be 20 people in the wrong direction. I'm kidding.
But I mean, we hope that you're learning. We hope that we are helping. We hope that you are finding solace in knowing that you're not alone in this. We all struggle on so many levels with the same things that we're not talking about. And also, if you're a woman and listening, guys struggle just as much as we do, right? They struggle just as much. They have so many issues that are layered just as much as we have layered issues.
My tennis partner is this really sweet guy, and he keeps getting ghosted by women he's meeting on the internet. He has a nice date, and then they're like, oh, I'm so busy, I've got nothing. He's like the one nice guy looking for a relationship, and nobody wants him. And he's
Wait
cute.
a second. He plays tennis? That means he probably has a great butt and some nice legs, Rebecca. Do I need to come back to Savannah for a weekend?
Maybe you do.
I mean, I like furry balls flying in my face. I'm just kidding. That's a quote from Clueless, but it does have to do with tennis. Or does it? Guys, it has been a wonderful evening. We are at about the 8:30 mark, which is a little bit over where we normally go. Rebecca and I are going to stay in the green room and talk probably about next week and what show we want to do. We love to hear from you, and we don't hear enough from you. We do have great people that join us each week, like Stevie and Lori and Dog Lover, that have come in and commented. Other people have joined us over the weeks as well. We love to hear from you. We want to hear what your struggles are in the dating world. We would love to be able to open up conversations that deal with things that you're dealing with, that you find you're dealing with. If it's something we haven't covered yet, please reach out to us at Juleigh@justjuleigh.com and tell us. Currently, I'm only getting emails from Russians, which, I mean, I appreciate the traffic on the website, but I don't know what they're asking. So feel free to come in and tell us a topic that you would like us to cover. Ask us questions. We have a Patreon account. Find us on Patreon. I'm not asking for your monetary support as much as I'm just asking for you to engage with us and let us know how we can help you in your dating escapades, whether it be in Tulsa, whether it be in Melbourne, Florida, whether it be in a metro area like Orlando or even New York. We are here for you, and we would love to hear your responses. So you can listen to this podcast anywhere that you find your podcast, on Spotify, on Apple Podcast, on Blurry. You can follow us on YouTube, and you can always join in the live chat here at Just Juleigh, Rose All Day, Optimistic in Orlando. And we will keep you posted on the picks that Rebecca has picked for me this week. And if they manifest and matriculate into a possible match for myself, we are going to go ahead and head out for the evening. Join us next week as we pick a different rosé and we continue to slay.
For more content, follow justjuleigh.com. That's just Juleigh, Juleigh.com. Thank you to our guests, and thank you for joining us this evening. Join us next week as Juleigh tries a different rosé.
Bye, everybody.